I'm Andrew Moran, Liberty Nation's economics editor.
Very, very rocky.
Death by government.
Drain the swamp.
Hello and welcome to another installment of Liberty Nation's Swamponomics videocast. I'm Andrew Moran, Liberty Nation's economics editor. This week, you get a 50-year mortgage, you get a $2,000 tariff dividend, and you get a cheaper turkey. It was quite a weekend for the Swamponomics 2.0 economic agenda as the president unveiled two public policy proposals. The first, in a Truth Social post, he suggested creating a 50-year mortgage, comparable to the 30-year mortgage introduced by FDR. Then, America's top housing chief Bill Pulte endorsed the idea. The social media reaction was fast and furious, with many complaining that too many Americans would be slaves to the banks for half a century. Consternation is warranted. Let's face it, if you're holding a 50-year mortgage through the entire amortization period, you are going to be paying 20 more years of interest in exchange for a lower monthly mortgage payment by a couple of $100. Moreover, if the barrier to entry is even lower, there will be greater demand, resulting in higher prices at a time when inventories are low. For now, this would unlikely be an issue because there are more sellers than buyers. At the same time, if this is an option for families to get their feet in the door and achieve the dream of home ownership while also starting to accumulate equity, then why not? This would be a voluntary arrangement. You can still apply for 15 or 30-year mortgages, nothing is stopping you, and the administration is not removing these options. Plus, many U.S. households do not hold their mortgages throughout the entire duration. Research suggests families typically list their homes for sale after about 8 to 10 years. It is concerning, however, that the U.S. housing market is so broken that you need a half-century mortgage to purchase a home, which can place individuals in debt for the rest of their lives. Critics will say, and rightly so, that policymakers should fix the money and repair the real estate market before embarking upon a half-century lending product. Of course, that will not happen. The subsequent big policy pursuit, one that is potentially more damaging, is a $2,000 tariff dividend. Earlier this year, the president and Elon Musk proposed the idea of using tariff revenues to hand out fat checks to the public nationwide. President Trump resurrected the concept over the weekend, which is something that should be even more worrisome. First, we have seen what happens with stimulus checks. They are inflationary, driven by artificial demand and an influx of cash that bids up prices. Second, if this is introduced, it could threaten the entire trade agenda, as the case in the Supreme Court hinges on whether the tariffs constitute a tax or a regulatory measure. If the administration is using tariff income to hand out checks, then it threatens the White House's case in the higher court. Finally, what happens if the government hands out checks and SCOTUS shuts it down? You're suddenly going to have $1 trillion that need to be printed out. Some good news for the president, meanwhile, is that Thanksgiving is cheaper this year. Using price data from the Bureau of Labor Statistics, Circana, and Nielsen, Wells Fargo says the cost of a 10-person Thanksgiving feast is expected to be 3% less than a year ago for families when they gathered later this month. So, the economics discussion of this year's festivities should be interesting and entertaining. As you gnaw away at the turkey drumstick, families will debate on 50-year mortgages and a $2,000 tariff check. Where's my invitation? That's it for this week. Please read my full stories on libertynation.com and be sure to check out my previous Swamponomics TV videos and interviews. Liberty Nation does not endorse candidates or campaigns or legislation, and this presentation is no endorsement. Thank you. I'm Andrew Moran, Liberty Nation's economics editor.
Very, very rocky.
Death by government.
Drain